You are watching On the Move with Lady Kate, brought to you by Afro USA TV, celebrating Great Women 2018 as we come up to International Women's Day. With me in the studio today, I'm very honored to present Miss Sade Oshinubi from PG County. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Thanks so much for having me today.
Yes, you are welcome. We are here today because Ms. Sade is actually running for elected office. You are running for delegate for District
26.
26.
That's
and,
right.
Yeah, you are such an inspiration. You are young, first of all. You are young. You are first generation Nigerian. Born and raised in the United States, a child to immigrant parents.
That's right.
Doing great things.
That's right.
And that's why we're honoring you. So can you give us a little bit of background who you are and why are you running for elected office?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lady Kate, for having me today. I think it is a beautiful thing that we're doing here, honoring women, so that women who are younger than us can have someone to look up to and know that they can do it themselves as well. And also for our gentlemen to know that we are strong, that we are capable of serving our communities.
Right.
I am running for office in Prince George's County, Maryland, District 26. That covers the Akakeek, Fort Washington, Oxon Hill, National Harbor, parts of Suitland and Temple Hills area of Prince George's County. And I first moved here when I graduated from law school to serve the federal government as an attorney. And I had spent some time here as an intern living in Clinton, Maryland, and really grew to love the community that we lived in. I mean, just going to the grocery store, finding people who will smile and say hi to you. That is something great about our county. And I love it. I love the feeling of community and family.
That's right.
And so I knew that I had to come back after law school. And for me, I grew up in a family of very strong, hardworking immigrant parents from Nigeria. They started from the ground up and really showed us what it meant to be strong, resilient, and work hard. But in the process of doing that, they also served. My mom used to take us to nursing homes growing up to serve, make sure that we are involved in a community.
Community service.
All the time.
Right.
In fact, I actually won the Community Service Award when I graduated from high school.
That's wonderful.
And that helped me get into college. It helped pay for part of my college. So it's something that I've been doing for a very long time. And I learned at that very tender age that it's not just about you. We have to give back whatever we're blessed with. We have to be able to use it to impact others. So I'm running to continue that. It's just a continuation of what I've been living out in my life. I really do believe that since I'm a government affairs attorney, and I love to look at legislation and regulations and figure out how to draft it in a way that makes sense, is comprehensible, and work across the aisle. I think that that skill set is really necessary to combine with someone who has grassroots efforts, you know, has grassroots experience. I've been working in our community through various organizations that deal in direct services. One of the most recent organizations, I guess it's been 2 years now that I've been heavily involved in this organization. It's the United People for African Congress. And I UPAC. And I chair the board, and I used to serve as the vice president of political engagement there. And working on policy issues. And through that organization, I realized that the African community as a whole needs to get more involved in policy making, get more involved in the political process. And we were doing that, and we have been doing that, getting more people involved. And I just want to amplify that a bit now with what I'm doing, running for office. That's right.
That's good. So what's your educational background? Where are you, political or law? What did you study?
My first degree is in journalism, and it's really funny.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's in journalism. You know, I thought I was going to be on CNN or whatever have you, but I had a professor in law school, and he has since passed. I mean, in undergrad rather, and he has since passed. But he made us do a project in school where we had to go in throughout our communications department, interviewing each other and deciding, okay, why did you choose to be in this field in communications? And I did my project on being in this field in communications because I want to help people have access to information.
Oh, wow.
And so he was like, you really think you're going to do that, telling one story at a time? And I was like, yes, I'm going to save the world telling one story at a time. And what I realized through that project, he coached me, he mentored me. He was a Juris Doctor himself. And he said, Sade, there's this thing that's blowing up, the internet, broadband.
Yeah.
Maybe if you get into that you can help people have more access if they have access to the internet.
That's right.
And more modes of communication. So he said, go to law school. Think about going to law school and working on policies that relate to that.
And look at you today.
And that's how I ended up there. And while I was in law school, I decided, oh, I'll throw a master's in there. So I did a master's in telecom while I was there.
Yeah, that's amazing. Look at your journey. At the age of under 30, you are now running for elected office.
That's right.
Yeah, that's an amazing journey. And I know your Nigerian parents really had a lot to do with your success, because that's what we African parents do.
That's right.
Yeah, we want our children to succeed. So were they encouraging of you to get in politics? Because I know sometimes we don't like politics, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, I have some people in my family, actually a lot of lawyers, only a handful of folks that I know that are involved in the political process back in Nigeria. But my parents have always encouraged us to, whatever we're doing, do it very well and make sure you're making a difference with it.
That's right.
And so for me, I actually never thought about getting involved in this capacity. When I first got into politics, it was to help other candidates, and it was to make sure that the issues that are important to the communities that I represent end up into legislation and in a very effective way.
That's right.
And it wasn't until I started doing more of that I realized that, wait a second, maybe the communities I represent wouldn't have to be served in the way that I'm serving them if we could just get the legislation right. If we could get the bills right. So that's when I decided that I should go in there. And when I brought it to my parents, they were very warm and receptive to it. They supported me wholeheartedly.
That's wonderful.
They were at my kickoff, you know, and my mom was dressed in her Nigerian wear, and it was beautiful. And so sometimes, you know, there are parents who maybe would want to taper that a little bit, but not my parents. They've been supportive all the way.
Yeah, because I can see the passion.
Yeah, I am passionate.
Yeah, when you speak, I can see the passion, like there is no other direction. This is where God is leading me, and that's where you're going. So that's wonderful. I know you mentioned a lot about community service, getting engaged with your community, and that's a strong platform for you to stand on. And I remember President Obama did a lot of community work, and people remembered him when they went to the polls. So that's very encouraging for you. And is that one of your platform? Are you bringing that into the
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's actually #1 on my vision. So a lot of times people talk about a platform as a candidate. I actually believe in vision. Because for me, platform sounds like something I'm trying to sell to you, or it's like where I'm sitting, and everyone has like the same topics that they focus on. For me, it's about my vision. What do I see the future as for the community that I'm trying to represent? And actually, community engagement is #1 on my vision. So it's great that you point that out. In fact, we like to phrase it as reforming standards for community-based decision making. And what that means is we're not just going to say we're representing the people, we're for the people. A lot of politicians make that promise, but what does that look like in actuality? Do you have systems in place that ensure that the community is engaged when you're working on an issue? For me, for instance, right now I'm very passionate about environmental concerns, and I want to bring it more to the African community and the African American community largely, because we are not really exposed to those kind of issues that we're seeing in our environment around us. And so what that would look like when I'm saying that I want to involve the community in legislation, that looks like reaching out to individuals when we're working on legislation that relates to that very directly. We know community organizations exist. We know their information. We know their Facebook pages. We know the events that they do. Why don't we go to them? Instead of waiting for them to come to us, we should go to them. And I believe that we should have, as leaders, more than just a couple of town halls a year, more than just a few dinners that folks can come to. We should actually have a system whereby folks can reach out to us directly, but then also we're reaching out to them on a systematic basis.
So we're going to see you out there engaging with your community and forming partnerships with the community to make a difference. That is an amazing way to go. So how do we reach you? How does the audience reach you? They want to support you. Do you have a website?
I do. Yeah. So for me, my website is www.sadeoshinubi.com. We make it very simple for you. That's right. You just have to know my name. And on social media, we're highly engaged, particularly on Facebook. And you can find me just by searching Sade Oshinubi, and you will land right on our page.
Do you have any events coming up?
I do. Right now, I want to highlight that we're doing a program called the Adopt a Classroom. And what we're doing is supplying the classrooms in our district with classroom supplies. Because what we found is that a lot of community organizations do back to school events where they provide book bags and books and school supplies for the students, but people forget that teachers come out of pocket a lot for their supplies.
That's true.
So we are collecting classroom supplies for teachers. If you want to participate in that, all the information's on our website. We're doing that throughout this month, and we'd love to have you partner with us in that.
That's wonderful. And you know, do you have any other like campaign events coming up as well?
Yes, right now what we want to do throughout the month of March is engage with small businesses.
Oh, wonderful.
And so we're hoping that if you have a small business, we have a call out right now to let us know, because we want to have a round table. And so we're at the stage right now of where we're bringing together all the small businesses in our district, but also not just the storefronts, because people forget that people's business may not be at a storefront. It may be behind a computer. And so we're doing that outreach right now in hopes that we'll get them in to hear the kind of issues that they care about and bring them around the table. As far as particularly for my campaign, we door knock, and we need volunteers for that. Door to door. And you can visit our website and click on the Get Involved tab, and you can learn how you can do that. And if you're interested in hosting a fundraiser, we do those as well. And we'll have a few fundraisers between now and May, and we'll roll out the information.
That's wonderful. So if you want to support Miss Sade, please go to her website. She needs volunteers to help with her campaign. She needs donations, because running a political campaign is not cheap, right?
It is not.
You found that out.
Yes, it is
so
not.
Every dollar, every dime will help to get her in office. So what last word do you have for the African community that's out there, you know, about your campaign?
I want to let you know that I am going to just continue the work that I have been doing as your advocate. It's not something new. We're just going to amplify it to make sure that we have a seat at the decision-making table. And I hope that you will join me. One of my mottos is "We are the solution." You will see that hashtag everywhere. We are the solution to our problems. So I pray and I hope that you will join me in solving our community's problems.
That's awesome. Support Miss Sade. Visit her website. She's a great woman, 2018. She's doing great things and making a difference. So she's young, she's elegant, she's eloquent, she can do it. She's been doing it. So let's get her in office. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
And we are wishing you the best.
Thank you.
Please give us any updates that you'd like us to share with our community. And we support you 110%.
Thank you so much.
You are an inspiration. Thank you for watching On the Move with Lady Kate. We will bring you more great women, so stay tuned. Mama cool, mama sa, mama cool sa, mama cool, mama sa, mama cool sa, mama cool, mama sa, mama cool sa, mama cool, mama sa, mama cool sa.